ambition, and sacrifice. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. You're gonna have to sacrifice.
I'm gonna be teaching startup entrepreneurs
Everything. You gotta get up early and stay up late. Read, write, study.
I'm just a hustler that has a lot of wisdom to share over 16 years of entrepreneurship. I'm back at it, baby.
My job is to create something for the people. Even though the people may struggle with trying to relate in the beginning to the vernacular, the dialect, or the examples even. I have a proven track record that I have overcome those problems. So that's what I can provide. I can help people get ahead of the curve, get ahead of those problems.
Different from vision. Mission was our purpose. Why we went into business, why we going. I help failing small business entrepreneurs save their business and life from failure. My vision is to make so much money by so many dates. I'm gonna do so many shows, sell so many books. Has nothing to do with my purpose. My purpose is I help failing small business entrepreneurs on Periscope, on Glide, on the phone, on the email, in person. That's what I do.
Yeah, crank me up a little bit.
Whoa, welcome back. This is Parish. We are in the building. Today we got something exciting we're going to be talking about, because people be like, hey, Cash, what do you do? So I'm going to try to express it in its as simplistic form as possible, so that way we are able to get the thing popping. But right now you are watching the creation of a podcast episode. We call this podcast live. I do two versions of podcasting. One where I sit down and be very calm and chill, talking as smooth as I can and as peaceful and paceful as I can to the microphone, so that way the podcast can come out, chill. But then I do the one where I'm standing up and I'm just getting to it and I'm giving it to you like as if I'm on a stage. So that is called Podcast Live. That is what I try to do once a week. So that's what you're checking out right now, the recording of our podcast episode. We're broadcasting out of the Co-Create Content Creation Studio, which is called Co-Create Digital. So you can come and check us out down here if you want to guest podcast with me or film something with me. We can come to the illustrious studio we have here and do something that I would think is fabulous and fantastic. But I got to pay the bills, so don't forget, I am Cash Parish. I started out in the business about 17 years old back in L.C. Forshey High School, where I got my first business understanding and education. From there, I've been self-taught, opening up multiple businesses, from barbershops, beauty salons, car wash. I've been in the technology industry, the tattoo industry, the body piercing, modeling. I mean, name it, I've been around. I've helped companies anywhere from for-profit to non-profit. So I got a whole list of things. So I've been in the game over 24, almost 25 years. So I am the author of a book that we call Got Hustle and Got Clientele. You can check those two books out on my website. Phenomenal reads if you have a business that you need to build up more traffic, clientele, learn how to be a better entrepreneur on a small scale. It'll help you on a large scale, but it's definitely designed when I was focusing on small businesses and startup companies. You can check that out. Last but not least, you can check out my new book. It is called Got Schemes. It's fabulous. You gotta have it. It is one of the books that's talking about entrepreneurship in a digital age. If you are not thinking about digitally hustling, I think you may want to reconsider your entrepreneurial goals. Entrepreneurial goals no longer should be tangible or alone, brick and mortar, or a what we would call a physical store. You can have both, or you can have just one, but if you're going to lean to just one, I recommend it being digital. And I think that you should read Got Schemes to understand all the phenomenal and tricky things you could do if you're working in a collaborative effort, working with influencers, working with co-marketing, and a lot of other stuff that you will have to come to Co-Create to really sit down and hear me talk about. Or you can subscribe to our digital platform when we launch that in a few weeks. So outside of that, I told you about my history. So what I do, I help content creators create content that sells. So that is the topic, how to create content that sells. Now, somebody may be asking, why would I want to create content that sells, Cash? Because me and you, if you are an entrepreneur, a business person, an achiever like I am, we are not here to entertain the world. Even though that may be perks, even though that may be part of it, let the artists entertain the world. Let the entrepreneurs get to the money, get to the goal, get get to the, look, and let me say this too, because I got to always lay down disclaimers when I am talking about getting to the money. That's just points on the scoreboard. We are not in entrepreneurship because we are money driven. Most of us are goal driven. We don't play the Xbox. We're not playing Fortnite. This is our game and this is what we play. So anytime that we want to get busy and achieve something and accomplish something, we think of a new business strategy and tactic to beat the competition, to achieve the goals, to satisfy the customers. That is the highlight of our life. That is like, woo, I did it. Another one for the books. It just so happens to make money. So I'm saying that to say most of us, most authentic, true entrepreneurs believe in their product and the purpose and the mission that their company was created for more than they believe in, I'm about to get rich. I talked about a lot of that yesterday in the broadcast I did. If you have not checked that out, go back to Periscope and YouTube, watch the replay. I also put a link on Facebook. Thank you for joining me. I forgot to say I cannot see you if you are texting on the screen because I have multiple monitors. I'm broadcasting on multiple platforms at one time. So what I do is help content creators create content that sells. We are not in the business of creating content that is just going to be some kind of content that we can, what's the word I say, get our rocks off, stunt, shine, show people how intelligent we are or how great and magnificent we are. Our goal is to create something that can move people through a process which we may call a sales process, a sales funnel, a sales cycle, a sales strategy. But we have to, and wait a minute, let me go back, because sales and marketing is two different beasts. It takes marketing to understand the market so you can give them a sales strategy, but they are two different beasts. So I'm saying that to say you can market all day long, but if you do not have a way to get them, grow them, keep them, and get them out to do a referral to bring more back, then we more than likely don't have a sales strategy. And that is critical. That is critical to the success and the operation of our business. My goal has always been to share value with you, and not value from a social media cliche standpoint. It is always to share value with you because I want to see you win. I know that if you win, you help me win. Somebody say, how's that? Because if you don't have no money, you can't spend no money. So if you can make some money, you'll go back to the person that say, hey, look, that guy right there showed me how to make a few dollars. I'm sticking with him. That guy showed me how to achieve. That guy showed me how to change my business, change my grind, change the world. Now, I'm still on topic now. So I'm saying help you create content that sells. I got to go all the way back and teach you what it is about content. We talk about in 2021. Somebody said, man, 2021, you worried about that already? Look, man, we're about 3 months away from it. Whether we live to see it or we don't live to see it, whether COVID kill us or not, you know, we still should be having our goals in focus saying, look, I'm going to prepare for the best, but look, I'm expecting the worst. You see, so if we have a little doom and gloom, a hurricane, because see, we down in New Orleans, we facing with another hurricane in Louisiana again. We got all kind of things. Who knows where I or you will be in 6 months? We don't know, you know. But guess what? While we here, I'm gonna keep on trucking on, doing the thing that we supposed to be doing, and that's running this place that's supposed to be helping us pay our bills. So that is why you are creating content to help you pay for your company, to create sales, to make that business work. If you do not have sales, you and I both have a hobby. That's what it is. A very expensive hobby that we have invested time, energy, and money into. Our goal is not to get rich to show other people. Our goal is to make enough money that we could grow this place until we can hire more people and actually get the solution that we created out to the general public, that the people may benefit from our greatness, our idea, our concept. So somebody, Cash, I thought this is about content creation. Bro, you got to understand, you got to go all the way back to go forward. I can't help you if you're trying to use your old mind with this new mind stuff. Does that make sense? There's no possible way that I could plant a seed in some bad soil. We're going to have to dig up all the soil, put new seed in the ground so we can have something that can be very fruitful, something that can fertilize and grow. So that's why we're trying to go all the way back to get you to understand why you need the content. The content is not to get likes. The content and the goal of the content is not to be, not somebody said, well, what if it is, Cash? If you have a goal to be a personal speaker, a motivational speaker, or a personal brand, that's different. That is very different. If you have a goal that you want to be a fitness coach or something, those goals are different. You may want likes, you may want fame, but those people that have a goal just to say, I wake up to provide a service at my business to pay my bills, to supply my income, and to help my customer, those people really don't care too much about fame, and that's the ones I'm talking to. That's the people who I create a message for. Those who have not created a business to be on social media and say, I'm a CEO, I own my own business. I created this company to help those that have created their company to help those that are in need of their products and services and ideas. Right? And to power that up, you need to make some sales. Now, if you and I don't have sales, again, we have kind of content should you create? Well, that's a whole different process, a whole different ball game. But what I would tell you this, you need to have content that's going to convert. Now, conversions are an exchange. If you do not have an exchange, that is tragic in business. What is an exchange? Selling goods or services or trading goods or services for financial income. You need content. I need content that gets that job done. Now, how do we get content that get that done? First, we got to understand what content is. When we talk about content media, we're talking about for this channel. And I always tell people for this channel because people want to talk to me about a lot of other things. I focus on audio content and visual content. Visual content meaning video and audio, MP3s, MP4s. That is what I focus on. If you are talking about written content, blog writing, and things like that, that is not what we do at the Content Creation Studio. You could create a blog at your kitchen table at your house. This is a concept that is developed for those that want to market their brands and business using audio and video. Those that are using live stream, those that are using podcasting, those that are using YouTube to create that content. So that is my definition for this channel of content media. Media that you're creating, you want to create content. So let's go back and say this. So there is a phenomenon of people saying that let's focus on content marketing to be the way that we're going to get a ton of sales. That used to be the accurate way when every platform gave you reach and things was free. Now things are not free. People do not give you reach. The reason that you do not get reach in the manner that you used to get reach because the companies like Facebook, Netflix, Hulu, Snapchat, Instagram, Amazon, they have collected so much data that the data on a human being, your cell phone companies, T-Mobile, Verizon, people like that, they know where you at when you, so let's say for instance, this geo-targeting, right? You're driving from your house to take this route to work. You're coming to your job. You get in your office. You log into Facebook. You check out some Google documents and things like that. You check out your Gmail and boom, now you're on your company clock and everything you're doing on your phone between the cell phone providers and the social media and Google, they all working together, sharing data and information, selling information at times, not currently, not all the time and not every company, but at times we're trading information and sharing information. They know what you do when you get to work. Do you work and do you not work? How long you're on social media? The phone can tell you how long you're using a certain app. So you think the telephone company doesn't understand how long you've been on what app? You think the social media company do not understand how long you've been using their app? Everybody is collecting data, so data is worth more than oil. is worth more than gold. It's worth more than diamonds. The data on an individual person is being harvested and collected by the places that we use like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Those people are creating so much data. Somebody said, why is that part of your conversation, Cash? It is a part of the conversation because you have to understand when you are creating media, you have to have some data. But I'm going to jump to that in a second. I'm going to get right back to that, right? So let's talk about marketing. Now, if you don't understand what marketing is, it's going to be hard for you to understand why I'm talking about content marketing versus regular marketing. So when you think about regular marketing, they have the 4 P's, or you might see the 7 P's of marketing. The number 1 P you should focus on is people. People, 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 people. If you and I do not focus on people, what are we doing? People have problems or pains, and those problems or pains is the reason that they do business with you and I. Those problems or pains can be converted into what we call wants or luxuries, needs or necessities. So let me go back and say that again. Hold up, you're getting money with that one. I'm saying people have problems or pains. So let me define a problem. If you have a flat tire on your car and you need another tire, that's a problem, right? A pain may be if you are using an online technology service and it's not as easy to use or intuitive, that's a pain. You're trying to get something done for your job, but the software makes the job complicated. That's a pain. A pain can be, I went to the store to find this pretty yellow shirt for my girl and it didn't have a size. That's a pain, right? So people have problems or pains. They have luxury purchases, meaning I don't really need that. That's just an extra luxury. It makes me feel good. I like it, right? Then they have necessities. I will absolutely not be able to move my car without a tire. It's a necessity. So if you're not filling the gaps of problems and pains, luxuries or necessities, it's going to be hard for you and I to sell anything to anyone. That's just off the top. Right? So now I'm saying, so that's marketing. You got to focus on the people. So who are the people? We got to go back to demographic. Cash, I thought this was modern. 2021 marketing. If you and I don't understand the basics, I can't get you in the back of the Facebook machine to plug around with all the buttons so you could run a marketing campaign or advertising campaign if you don't know the basics of your problems, pains, your humor. How are we going to create content if we don't understand who we talking to? We don't know the customer. We don't know their problems. We don't know their plans. We just want to talk about how great the product is or how great we are or come buy something from me or support me. But if you and I don't think about the people, what are we making a product for? The product is only made for the consumer. We don't buy the product from ourselves, so we got to make a product for them. As much as you hate to make lemon ginger cookies, that's what everybody keep asking for. Say, bro, you got lemon ginger cookies? I don't eat no lemon ginger cookies. I didn't ask you what you ate. I asked you, do you have any for sale? That's how the customer's gonna be. So I'm telling you that as oh man, how can I say? I am trying to break it down as simplistic as possible to tell you first we gotta start with demographics. That is the outer man. That is what they look like on the outside. Hypothetically, when we're creating a marketing strategy, because I try to talk about what I do and who I am, but I probably failed to mention I'm a business strategist and architect. Primarily, that's what I do. Primarily, I say I help people create content that sells, but I write a strategy that can stretch out for a year's worth of time in every last category of marketing or brand development and sales. That's what I do. I sit down and write multiple documents for companies to execute off of, right? So I'm saying that to say, when you are thinking about the demographics, the outer man, what do they look like? You're saying black man, 5'10", about 185 pounds. Then you're going to start to try to come up with things like the geographics. Live in New Orleans, in the 6th Ward, downtown. You know, you're going to have demographics, geographics. Those are hella important. If you do not understand where they live at, you cannot target when you start to advertise. You cannot... I'm jumping ahead of myself, but you have to get the ideal client down onto a piece of paper that you could look at it and visualize. This is, if I saw them in real life, I would know them when I see them. They would be black, 5'10", 180 pounds, and they would be living in the 6th ward of New Orleans. That's the first initial demographics. Then when I go to talk to them, I'm trying to understand if the psychographic makeup balances with the demographic and geographic makeup. Now, what is that about? So your psychographics, so you got to think about it like this. It's twofold. Everybody understands that you have a man walking around on Earth planet. You look at him and you say, that's a human being. Then when you see him in a casket, you say, man, Johnny Joe is gone, right? So whoever Johnny is was not the man walking around. Johnny was the soul of the being, and that is psychographics, right? I'm trying to tell you, the psyche of a man and the soul of a man are one and the same. They one and the same. So you want to understand the attitudes, the beliefs, and the personality of the person, right? Because the personality influences the behavior. Oh man, I'm trying to bring it on, but I'm trying to say, when you have a behavior, it is conducive, or it's made up of, somebody might say it's made up of their geographical location. It's made up of their parental upbringing. Well, those are going to give you beliefs. You have you know why some, let's just use black teens. You know why some of them act like wild beasts out the cage? Because the belief system is, I can't let nobody play me. I can't let them get over, because I live around a bunch of sharks. And around here, if they try to play me, it's going down. It's a belief system. It's a mindset. That's why I always tell people, I'm not in the business of transformational, motivational speaking and things like that. Sometimes you have to acknowledge people. Everybody could change. You go and try to change their soul. I'm going to sit here and talk to the ones that's looking for what I got to sell them. We're not in the convincing people we got it business. We're in the business of finding the right person that has the right problem with the right marketing, so we can marry them like a hand in a glove. That's the business we into. And if that's not the business you're thinking about, I think you're thinking about business the wrong way. So as I was saying, that the consumer or the person themselves, they have a behavior pattern. A behavior pattern means how long you're on social media, which platforms you're using. Do you shop on or offline? What do you do? Do you like this post or like that post? Do you engage with this post, or do you share? Do you comment? Some people don't share, don't comment, because it's not in their behavior. So if you're running a Facebook like campaign for likes, Facebook has been so intelligently designed that it knows not to show it to Sue, because Sue don't like nothing and she don't share nothing. So you got to understand what you're trying to accomplish first, so you can get it accomplished. By whom may it get accomplished? If you are a person that is trying to sell a monthly subscription, and you trying to walk up to a person who don't pay car insurance, who don't pay for Netflix, who don't pay for Apple Music, who don't pay for a gym membership, your chances that you're going to convert, because I talked about conversion, I talked about exchange, the chances that they're going to give you money for an ongoing service is slim to none. Because they don't have it in their behavior. Because their belief system, they don't believe in working out. They don't believe in monthly bills. They don't believe in paying for that. Their personality is, you know how somebody say, I don't like her. Why? It's because she has a bad attitude. Well, that's reflective in their personality. Now, why am I saying personality? Because you got to get back, and I got to get back to the real fact that we have a bunch of people that are out here focusing on marketing from a mass communication standpoint. Now, what I mean by mass communication standpoint, I mean that I said personality because we have to break that word down. Personality, that's going to be dealing with a person, right? And that means we're dealing with, so let's say, I'll give you a better example, because look, I'm not no grammar teacher, but you got to break words down to understand how to do this business. person. So I'm gonna give you an example. I say, man, we have one bottle of water for every person that comes here. So every person gets one per person. It's per. So why am I saying that? Because you have a personality. It's unique and it's unique and it's what's the word I want to say? It is strictly on that type of person. I don't know the word I wanted to say right there, but it's unique to that type of person. Your goal and my goal is not to create content that's mass communication. That's the problem why we losing as minorities in social media is because we are focusing on mass communication. Somebody said, Cash, what's mass communication? That's where they had a billboard on the highway that spoke to everybody. Buy these cool cigarettes. Get this No Limit Master P album. Drink Coca-Cola soda. But do you realize they got people that drink Pepsi or water or other type of products? So mass communication means you're speaking to a large audience with a message that's for a large audience. You're not saying, hey, you with the black shirt, would you like to buy some cool cigarettes? You're more so saying, everybody, look at my cool cigarettes, right? But that's the difference in online and offline marketing. When we're talking about online marketing, marketing gets down to the personal level, to the personality, down to the singularity. Cash, what's singularity? Well, when you go back, somebody like the late Steve Hawkins talked about singularity, right? And singularity, so you have the Big Bang Theory in theory. You have the Big Bang Theory is an explosion and everything going out. Then they could do analysis on everything in the stellar universe and realize that all in the cosmos, everything come from one source and substance, bringing it all the way back to say it was an explosion. Now it's an implosion. That is singularity. So singularity is what they're showing you. Cash, I'm still not understanding what you're trying to say. I'm trying to say that if you're using massive communication tactics to speak to Facebook or any social media platform, you're trying to talk to all of your followers, the ones that Facebook, Instagram, YouTube allow you to talk to, because they don't allow you to talk to everybody. You're trying to talk to all of your followers with one video, with one piece of content, with one creative. That's mass communication tactics. That's using something. I know I have some contractors that follow me. And I know I have some social workers that follow me. And I know I have some tech companies that follow me. And I know I have some beauticians that follow me. But they gonna like this post, so I'm gonna just drop this post and they gonna feel it. Then you're like, man, that post didn't really do all that well. Because you're trying to use a mass communication tactic to please everybody or to appease everybody. And that's massive communication. That is not what we want to be doing now. It's a singularity. So let me describe what I mean by singularity. We're looking for that one consumer that has this behavior or this habit, or they move a certain way or they think a certain way. So there are a group of people that out there that believe that the world is flat. And you would be surprised that some people started believing that the world was flat in 2019. You saying that's impossible. But they have a certain level of understanding, belief, attitude, personality. They're locked in their own echo chamber, receiving so much information that once you understood who they was, you were able to create a piece of content that convinced them the world was flat because they became persuadable. Persuadable. I hope I'm resonating today. They become persuadable. You can convince, once you understand a person, you can influence them. You can persuade them. You can move them. Let me go back to this because I didn't say this. You can move them any kind of way you want. The subject that I'm really speaking about is microtargeting. That is the future. It's been the future. We're in it, and we're seeing the effects of it ever since Trump 2016 election. Really, Obama election, they did micro-targeted strategies, but we'll have to talk about that on another podcast. Dealing with a subset, taking a market and breaking that market down, and I'm going to probably release some film from probably five years ago that I talked about taking the market, understanding the market is where everybody come to trade and sell goods and things. So if they online, the online market, they come to the market and you break it into subsets, right? So let's just say, for instance, I said this content studio focuses on live streaming, video like YouTube, and audio like podcasts. We can't talk to everybody at one time, so we talk to the podcasters to get started. Now, we know that down the line, we're going to extend that company like an antenna. We're going to go deeper, not wider. We understand that already. But with the level of money we have for marketing, with the strategy, the tactics, the team, the people who understand it, we realize right now we're just not equipped to target everybody. So we're going to go deep, not wide. We'll catch them in 2 to 5 years. That's a strategy, long range planning. Working on it. Say, man, we get started in 2018. By 2020, we'll be right here at this position. 2021 at this position. 2022 at that position. So micro-targeting is taking a market, breaking it into subsets, and you're going to be focusing on predictive buying behavior or predictive engagement behavior. Why I said engagement behavior? Because there's still people who are interested in doing content creation for content marketing. I'm biased. Let's go back. I have done the mass communication thing. I paid and produced television commercials and put them on television, put commercials on radio, ran in magazines. I have done the massive communication thing. I have done that. I have done the free MySpace, Black Planet, Instagram, Facebook at the early stages of business. I was alive and hustling when Google got started, right? So I have done the search engine optimization, the local Google places, and all of those things. I'm telling you, over 10, 15 years of history, I have ran in #1 places for my categories on search engine optimization, local Google placements, right? So I'm telling you, the game don't work like it used to. If you have intentions on really building up your business and growing further or going further, you really have to understand that they have engagement behavior. What a person would click, what a person would like, what a person would share, what a person will comment on, that is engagement behavior. If let's say, for instance, if there's a artificial intelligence software such as Facebook that can calculate whether or not a person will engage with this piece of content by showing it to them in the Explore page, in the feed, and things like that, and you're living for likes, that is psychological. Man, I'm opening up too many cans of worms. So when you're dealing with the psychology of an individual, the way that the phones are designed, they're very addictive. So you could get those, that's like dopamine hit. You get that hit from that like. Don't get fooled by the hit from the like. You're not here for likes. You're not here unless your strategy is free content marketing only. If that's your strategy, again, I said I'm biased. I don't really believe in that. I believe when you get free, you cap yourself. I believe that you can't see your money excel because Facebook will not allow you greater free reach. If they say 7%, they're going to show it to 7%. So you're always trying to I'm going to get 7,000 followers. Well, now I need more money. So now I'm going to get 100,000 followers to get 7,000 followers. Then I'm going to get 200,000 followers so they can show it to 14,000 followers. You're always capped. If you want to really make it work, go back to what I'm saying. No mass communication, micro-targeted content, taking that market and breaking it into a subset or a segment, focusing on the behaviors and the personality of the person, understanding that I'm not trying to find every single person that wear Air Force Ones. I'm trying to find the person that listens to hip hop music, that lives in the South, that call it Air Force Ones forces, that talks with that street slang, that urban vernacular. I'm not looking for the cool kid in school. I'm looking for the street dude, the dude that's in and out of jail or something like that, that's rocking these forces. You've got to be very specific in targeting. Otherwise, if you're too broad, when you get to using the softwares to do advertisement campaigns, you're not going to be able to be successful, and it's going to fall on deaf ears. Now, The reason I did all of that talking, and I haven't even got to half of the stuff I want to say, but I'm trying to get you to the point where the thing that you and I have to focus on is data collection. When I was running my brick and mortar business in 2005 through 2014, customer relationship management software, CRM software, was what we had inside the business. It's a database software. Now, you use this software to try to understand things about sales: who bought what, how much they spent, how often do they come, what area they live in, all of their demographics, psychographics, what kind of information, whatever they ask, you want to fill it out. What kind of car they drive, what kind of phone they have, what kind of tattoo they bought, what kind of piercing they bought, what kind of jewelry, aftercare, how many appointments they booked. You want all of that information, because eventually, as the head of your business, you have to look at analytics. You have to look at reports. If you own a business and you have customers, not the people who don't have customers, those who doing 10, 15 customers a week or more in whatever business you have, you probably should be running reports. If you're not running reports, it's going to be hard for you to understand what's happening on YouTube, what's happening on Facebook, what's happening through the cash register, what's happening through Google Analytics, what's happening. It will be hard for you to understand. You and I cannot build a better business without analytics. So that's why I'm saying data collection. I was talking about that CRM system to say that is a system that's like a beginning stage of data collection. You want to start collecting as much data. I'm not a data analyst. You don't need to be. We want data-driven marketing. If your marketing is driven by your thoughts and your opinions, you're bound to get it wrong. I used to talk to people all the time and say, man, tell me about your customers. And they would tell me about their customers and what they thought about their customers. But then when we ran the reports and we actually looked at the pie graph and the pie chart and the graphs, they actually imagined wrong. Man, I thought my best customer was 25 to 34. Well, it says your best customer is a 55-year-old white woman. Go figure. Yeah, they spend the most money and come back the most frequently. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that you need to have for data collection and data ownership. If you are starting a digital business, try your best to get to owning the data as fast as possible. Somebody say, what is the data meaning? When you create software, if you have a web developer to create your app or your website, it should be able to capture information that is not seen with the naked eye. It should be able to capture something: usage time, page clicks, likes, stuff, demographics, location, geotarget, something, sexual orientation, marital status. You should be able to run surveys and be able to collect data off of surveys. You and I have to have a ton of data to compete and to win. The bigger companies are steadily getting bigger, and the smaller companies are steadily getting crushed because we're not understanding that data. Now, I don't have enough time to go into all of these things, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to give you a quick recap. If you're joining me in the replay, if you're listening to this podcast at this stage, I'm just going to recap. I talked to you about how to create content that sells, and I walked you through a process talking about what is content. We talked about the content being audio or video or podcast. We talked about what is marketing. We talked about there is 4 P's and sometimes related to 7 P's: product, price, promotion, placement, packaging, things like that. But the number one in that group of things is people. When you talk about people, I told you have to understand their pain or their problem. What don't they have? What are they lacking? What do they need? What is a bad gadget or doohickey to accomplish their goals? How can you give them a solution for their pain or their problem? If they have a want or a need, that is a luxury or a necessity. I talked about those things because all of those are going to tell you how are you going to create the content and what kind of content are you going to create. Let me give you an example. If the person has a problem, right, and I talked about a problem, you can create the commercial. Say, you have a flat tire. We have a tire shop with tires on sale. Buy one, get one free right now till October the 3rd, right? You can run a definite, direct, specific commercial, and that'll deal with the problem. You can show a person driving down the street, blow their tire out, or the old lady come in, slash their tires, they get a nail. You can show that commercial so it could be more relatable to the person. But when people have a problem, they don't really care too much about branding. They care about solutions. So when you are at this stage in the sales funnel, what am I talking about? I talked about earlier that there's a sales funnel, sales cycle, sales process. Where are the person or in the buying journey? Do they have an urgent need? Is it a necessity? Are they searching on Google, or are they ready to commit to a price and a purchase? Once you know that they're ready to commit to a price and a purchase, you put the right commercial at the right stage of that sales funnel, boom, like magic, you are making sales, right? And every time somebody watch a commercial, do not get it in your mind or your promotions that they supposed to buy. Everybody won't buy. It's going to fall on a few deaf ears. Now, I talked about that to say, okay, if there's a pain, if there's a luxury or necessity, going on a family cruise, that's a luxury. But buying a laptop for online learning during COVID season, that's a necessity. So you have to make a decision. What are you selling? Luxuries, necessities? How will you market your luxury or your necessity? Is it a pain? Is it a problem? Is it I just want it? I just feel like if I'm not at the fire fest, I'm gonna be left out. I'm fear of missing out. What tactic are you gonna use to get it done? Right? So I'm saying that to say, go back to the psychographics. I'm just running you back through what we went to through geographics, because people up north call Air Force Ones uptowns. People down south call Air Force Ones, or people in New Orleans at least, they call them G-Nights. You know, somebody in St. Louis call them Forces or whatever. You know, these straight G-Nights. You know what I'm saying? So depending on where you at and what part, you have to be able to speak that language. I would not try to convince a person in New Orleans to buy uptowns, because if I'm from downtown, that's a problem. I don't wear uptowns. I'm from downtown, and I wear G-Nikes. They're the same shoe, but you calling it the wrong thing. And it's disrespectful to a downtown player for you to give me an uptown shoe, right? So I'm saying that to get you to understand that the behavior is based off the belief system. That attitude I just gave you, attitude, behavior, that resistance to make a purchase, that was because I don't believe in uptown stuff. I'm from downtown. So that's a personality. He from the six. You know how them six wall dudes rock. You know what I'm saying? So I talked about bringing it back to singularity and not massive communication, focusing on one person. If you say, instead of trying to find a million people to sell my G-Nikes to in New Orleans, I'm going to focus on one six wall dude who believes in G-Nikes, and I'm going to target him. And then everybody else who have a psychographic makeup like him, that's the individual that will become a part of my sales process. And that's why I showed you the antenna. You're extending out. You're going deep, not wide. I talked about micro-targeting. I told you how micro-targeting represents the subset. It represents the segment of the market. I talked about predictive buyer behavior, and I was saying that's if you have customers. But if not, if you're doing content marketing and you're trying to use free marketing, then you want to look at engagement behavior. Who will react? How will they react? You go to the comment section and you send videos to people who in the comment section if you're looking for comments. You go to people who share and you send videos to people who share if you're looking for shares. So you have to find that one-on-one communication. That's why I always tell people I believe in direct message marketing through Facebook, WhatsApp, or places like that, because if you're going to work it and you're trying to work it for free, you need to find your ideal customer and have one-on-one communication with them, or even using tools like ManyChat, so that way you can take and have that robotic but still authentic feel of a one-on-one conversation with them. Lastly, I talked about data collection. If you and I have sales and we're not collecting data, it's going to be trouble in the next year or two to try to market, to advertise. And we talked about owning the data, ownership. I told you earlier that data is worth more than oil, worth more than gold, worth more than diamonds. If you could believe me, then you'll be pretty much well on your way when you have a list of emails, and those emails have surveys that are pinned to them that can put people in segregated categories, buckets, male, female, paid, income, college educated, believe in this, that, and the third, and you know exactly who your audiences are. You are able to create multiple creatives. Now, what is a multiple creative? And you're going to hear me constantly talking about this, and I'm closing up. A creative is a piece of content that you created for a specific purpose, audio or video. That creative that you have should be paired with that singularity. So, oh man, I really need an illustration to show you. They may have, I talked to my partner yesterday, Ray, and we was talking. He's from New Orleans, but he moved into Georgia many years ago. So he's a Dungeon Family, supporter. He loves the Dungeon Family. I love him too, but I just don't love him more than I love Soulja Slim and New Orleans music. You know what I'm saying? I take some bounce music and be jammed out before that, but I still love that. But if you had to put me in a category, Soulja Slim Tupac category over here for him, 3 Stacks, CeeLo Green, Good and Mob, T.I., Jeezy, and I'm like, I like them boys, but Juvenile, Hot Boys, you know what I'm saying? No Limit, P, you know what I'm saying? So that's where we all differ, but we both listen to hip-hop, we both listen to R&B, we both love gangster music or street music and motivation, and we so much alike, but we so different, and I'm saying that to say, so the commercial that needs to come on my device or the content that I need to follow on social media needs to be different from his. You're going to get different reactions, and that's what we talked about, predictive buying behavior. You can almost predict how he's going to act if you say CeeLo and 3 Stacks is doing an album together and they going on tour. He gonna be out the roof. You know what I'm saying? If you told me they brought Tupac and Soulja Slim back from the dead, I'm going to be like, wow, that is an amazing thing. First, from the dead. Second, I'm gonna be in that concert. So I'm saying that just to say, I hope that I gave you some value on this podcast live. These have been going longer than I normally like to talk because I don't like to edit them. So these probably will not be edited. If you want to find a copy of this, check in a few weeks on Co-Create Digital. All of our podcasts is on Co-Create Digital on every platform. It is the podcast show. I definitely think that you should check it out. It is high quality stuff, good value. And guess what? It's for the free 99. Just pay for it with the share if you care. So my name is Cash Parish. It's been a pleasure talking to you all today. Don't forget, I'm the author of 2 books, Got Schemes, which is on sale right now, as well as a book called Got Clientele and Got Hustle. I'm a better talker than I write. Sometimes people say I write better than I talk, but all of it is good game. Put it all together. Get the books, get the podcast, put it all together, and I think you'll do very well and reach a lot of success by some things that didn't cost you nothing but time. So, last but not least, I think I'm coming back. I'm thinking about doing a broadcast called The 5 Love Languages of Marketing. It's a thought that's on my mind, so maybe I'll be back with that. But subscribe. Check us out. Co-Create NOLA, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Periscope, and it has been a total pleasure. I would love to see y'all back again. Y'all stay cool. Be blessed. Peace.
Light that keeps shining and a tide that keeps rising.